Hey, welcome to It'll Be Fine. I'm your host, Erica Bell. This is the podcast where I remind myself as well as you that it'll all be fine. Everything's going to be okay, right? So, if you live here in the United States right now, we are coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday. And really, no matter where you live, you are in the thick of the holiday season, right? So, winter holidays are coming up. For us, we celebrate Christmas. My husband doesn't let us put up any Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. So, now that we are out, past Thanksgiving, we are putting up all the decor. I absolutely love it. Thanksgiving is his favorite holiday, so that's why he does not want anyone to skip past it. But sometimes it feels like December is just not long enough to have up our Christmas decor, but it is what it is. You got to compromise, right? So I think for many of us, the holiday season, it comes with a lot of reflection. It comes with a lot of thinking, maybe reminiscing, good, bad, ugly, all of those things. So, celebrating any kind of holiday season, it's just that clear date on the calendar, right? That holiday is a definitive date on the calendar that we compare to the previous years. You know what I'm saying? So, like, August 1st may not mean anything to you, and you may not remember what you did last year on that date. But if it's a holiday, there's chances are you'll remember who you were with, what you were doing. So I think it's just natural to think of those holidays that have passed. So maybe you spent last year with other people. Maybe you spent it with loved ones who are no longer here, or maybe you spent it with a partner that you're no longer with, or maybe your kids now are grown and out of the house and maybe they're not coming home for holidays. So for us, we have my parents are divorced, both remarried, and then I now am married, so we have my in-laws. So it's a kind of every holiday is kind of a balancing act, right? And now we have kids as well, and that makes it even more complicated. So through all of this, I've really kind of started to try. I say started to try. I've really been thinking about and really attempting to, because it's a work in progress, right? Attempting to change my mindset of, instead of this is something I have to do, it's something I get to do. And it's so funny because I took a spin class this past weekend in where we were for Thanksgiving, and she was talking about the same thing. So it applies even to, exercise. Like, this is not something I have to do. This is something I get to do. And we should rejoice in the fact that we are able to move our bodies how we can, that we're healthy, that we're able to ride a bike, that we're able to work out, all of those things. And so it's funny that she mentioned it, being that it was already on my mind. So I felt like that was very much a God thing, a lesson of like, yep, that's what you should be doing. Just that little reminder, that little like wink from God saying like, yep, yes, you do need to be focused on that. So changing my mindset of that I have to do something to I get to do something. And this relates to holidays. So, as I think you get older, or you have kids, or you get married, or you're just living a separate life from the normal, like, all those years when you're home with your family, right? So it gets more complicated. I think this was the first year that my husband and I kind of looked at each other like, should we travel, should we not? Like, there was a big part of us that just kind of wanted to stay put where we were and not have to worry about it. We have a little boy, he's 2. Being in the car, sometimes it's great and he just sleeps, and other times it's awful, right? So having that anxiety of like having to travel and then being out of our element, and travel, I love travel, is one of my biggest passions. But when you're doing it with kids, and even when you're not, when you're just in general, it can come with levels of stress. You're out of your element, you're eating different foods, you're on a different schedule. You're just out of that routine. And sometimes that's fun. It's a fun adventure. And other times it's just very stressful. So, I think there was part of us that was just like, should we just, stay put where we are? I have one of my closest friends, her and her husband have just decided, they also have two small kids, and they've decided that they want to make their own traditions now with their own family that they've created, and they're not going to travel. So on holidays that may mean that they don't see as much family, but they are doing their own thing, and that their family hopefully will have to respect that. So I think it is tempting, but I think there's also a bigger part of myself and my husband that I grew up with a lot of cousins. My husband grew up around his like grandparents, didn't have a ton of cousins, but grew up around a lot of family, and we really value that, and we really like that. So we want our kids also to be able to be close to grandparents, be close to cousins. So if that means that we maybe are a little inconvenienced, we still want to do that for them. And it is interesting because I think there's a big part of me that with the holidays, like, I think I want sometimes for it to be as easy as it was when I was younger, right? You just show up and you eat the food and you have the party and you just have fun, right? And while it can still be like that as you get older, it's a little bit different, especially if you have kids. It's just a bigger process. It's a bigger burden. It's a bigger stress. And I hate to say that. I just remember hearing so many people over the years, like adults, that would just kind of, I just not necessarily complain about the holidays, but just really say how stressful they are. And I just remember thinking many, many times, I remember thinking, I do not want to be like that. The holidays, this time of year is joyous and it's fun and it should be celebrated. And it just, should be all these positive things, not this like life sucking energy, whatever. And I never wanted to be like that, but I'm understanding more so why people are like that, especially these people I'm sure were parents. I don't even remember who all was, that I'm referring to, but I just remember over the years hearing that, feeling that from other people. And it does bring that. It does bring this level of stress. And, so with, like I said, as you get older, it's all these things as you get older, right? Like you can't wait to grow up. And then when you do grow up, you're like, shit, this kind of sucks sometimes. Like, but it's so funny too, because some days I feel like I'm not a grown up at all. I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like, what? No, like I am a kid. How can I have kids? How can I be an adult with like a mortgage and all these bills? Like, wasn't it just yesterday that I was like in college? Wasn't it just yesterday that I was just kind of more carefree, and then you blink and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, what, how did this happen? I'm married with kids. Like, who is this person? Sometimes I look at myself and I say that, who is this person? Like, I sometimes I really know who I see in the mirror, and other times I'm like, what is this life? Like, surely it's not mine. Surely I cannot be at the point in my life where I am in my early 30s with two kids and married. Like, I just, probably because there was a lot of times where I'm like, I don't even know if this would be the life for me. So I think there's still part of me that's like, this is wild that it is the life that I did end up choosing. But it's just bizarre because there's still so many days where I'm like, I need my mommy. How am I also a mommy? And maybe that never changes. Maybe that's how a lot of people feel. I don't know. But it's just an interesting, I don't know, it's just an interesting feeling, right? So with the holidays, it kind of, there's this balance between like I want it to be like how it was when I was a kid, where it's just carefree and easy and all these things. But then there's a big part that's like, it's not like that, because now I am not just the one who gets to enjoy the holidays. I'm also the person that has to put on the holidays, make the holiday magic. I have another good girlfriend who, that's like her favorite part of the holidays is, she has two twin girls, and her favorite part of the holidays is basically making the magic for her kids. And I absolutely agree with that wholeheartedly. There is such a joy and such a special honor to be able to provide holiday magic to other people, to your kids, or to host, a holiday party or something like that, or any kind of celebration. There's such a privilege in doing that, and there's such a joy that comes from it, right? There's such a joy of being able to give to other people, and especially when those people are your little ones. But I think it's fair also to say that I just want that for myself sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to put on the magic. I don't want to be the magician, I don't want to be the one in charge of doing all of those things. I want to just sit and show up at holidays and be able to enjoy them instead of putting it on. I want the ease of things. I want things to be easier sometimes. I find that I don't know if it's been lately, but like maybe it's just throughout motherhood. So I think I said this in a previous episode of that, I have a 5-year-old, so I've been a mom for 5 years, but there are plenty of times where I just want things to be easier. And I think I was never naive to think that having children would be easy in any way, shape, or form. I always knew it was going to be difficult, but I think there's difficulties about having kids that I did not expect. And like I said, take the holidays, for example, there's just something about it. And maybe it sounds selfish to say that I just kind of want things, the ease of things, or to be able to just enjoy things without having to put on it for others. But that's also just real talk. And I know damn well that I'm not the only person that thinks like that or that feels like that. So, hey, if that's you feel like that, you're not alone. Don't worry. It does not make you a bad parent. It does not make you a bad person for wanting that. I think that's just normal. So like I was saying earlier, we go back, we think of all these holidays that we had before. So think about all the Thanksgivings that I had before. And, I think maybe you don't do this, but I do compare them. And, oh, I wish I was with so and so this time, or I wish I was doing this. This was such a good holiday. That was such a great year, or, those types of things. And I think I have high expectations for many holidays. I just have high expectations in life, I think. And I don't think that's bad. I think it's only bad when I get things built up too much and then I get disappointed. So, the holidays hold such a special place in my heart. Like my birthday is one example. Like I am obsessed with celebrating my birthday, with birthdays in general, celebrating anyone's birthday. So my birthday's in August and it's always a big deal to me. So I always really hype it up. So then when sometimes it doesn't meet those expectations, it's a real big bummer, so I try my best to not let that happen. But, with these types of holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas in particular, and New Year's, I used to just adore. Now, again, now that I have kids and I go to bed super early, I don't, I don't enjoy it in the same way that I used to, because I'm not usually even up at midnight anymore. But I do love the idea of like a new year, a fresh start. I love all of that. So, just these holidays of, I have high expectations for them because I have such fond memories, and because I want to continue to, make those special memories and have just a joyous time. So going back to what I was saying too, like about, so we, my parents are divorced, both remarried, in-laws, all of that stuff. So we kind of, and now we live apart from my in-laws. Also, like my dad lives across the country. So, and it's just balancing things out. So when do you spend time with what person, and you want to celebrate with all your family, as much as you can. And my husband and I kind of go back and forth between, like, so this year we celebrated Thanksgiving with his family. Next year we'll celebrate Christmas with them, and kind of trade off with my family. But then, like I said, as you like add in like divorced parents, that also adds in another mix. Like, so if my dad is in town, we celebrate with him. And, so I found myself kind of I get a little bit overwhelmed, which, listen, more partying the better. Like, if we can have 5 Thanksgivings, that sounds great. I'll eat all the food, do all the things, say what I'm thankful for. I do love that, but I think it's the balancing act of trying to meet other people's expectations. So it's not that we have to celebrate all this stuff. That's great, but it's trying to make time for everyone. It's trying to meet their expectations. That's just the best way to put it. So, I think my parents have feelings about things, or my in-laws have feelings about things, of, how they want things to go, or what, how they want us to be, or how they want us to show up, or when they want us to show up, or what they want to do with us, all those things. So it's just trying to like make everyone happy. And I think sometimes that gets frustrating or gets overwhelming, especially for me in our family. I am the planner. I am the organizer of things, and kind of the head of doing all those things. So I'm also, I'm the juggler, so I'm trying to juggle everything and make it all work. So, but I'm really trying to go back to that, what I was saying earlier, of not that I have to do these things, but that I get to do these things. It's great that my dad is in town and wants to spend time with us and his grandkids. It's great that my in-laws want to spend time with us and their grandkids. That my mom, so trying to reframe, instead of just being frustrated at it, really trying to reframe, like, what a gift it is that I have all of these different people who want to spend time with us. Like, that is truly a gift, because there's plenty of people who don't have that, who don't have that kind of family support, who don't have family at all, who maybe have wanted to have kids and can't have haven't been able to have kids, and would just dream of toting their children around for holidays, so trying to put that into perspective and change the way I'm thinking of things. And it really has helped. Like, I get to do this. I get to put on the magic. I get to be around all these people. I get to celebrate multiple times, not that I have to do it. And again, it's a work in progress. It's not always super easy to do those things. And it is still stressful, but I think having that at the forefront of my mind shifts how I feel about things and makes it more easy to manage, or more tolerable. And I hate to use the word tolerable, like I just have to tolerate the holidays, but you know what I mean. I mean, it makes it bearable when the stresses do arise, because they will. They just inevitably, they do. You get an argument with someone that you went to go visit, or your kids haven't slept, or whatever, like, the things happen. So it just makes it, that shift in perspective. It's those little shifts in perspective that are like these big aha moments that really can like change your life, I feel like. I mean, that sounds like kind of wild, but it's true. So changing that mindset. The other thing I've been kind of like thinking about, so we went back to our hometown, and because that's where my in-laws still live. And I think there's just a lot of things that come up for me personally being back there. I very much enjoy visiting. It's a gorgeous place. It's on the beach. It's got a really cool downtown. There's a lot of things to do. It's a really active place. It's just on the water. It's just so many things that are so great. And there's so many wonderful things that happen there. But I think I also go back to all the really shitty things that happen there. All my biggest regrets or mistakes I made, because I spent most of my time, like I said, it's my hometown. I wasn't born there, but I spent most of my life there. So, there's just a lot of room for memories and a lot of room for just the reflecting on, oh, that's where, you, as you drive around, oh, that's where that happened, or that's where, just all the memories that come back. And why is it that it's the negative ones that are always on, like, usually on the forefront of your mind? I'm trying to like shift it of making new memories and just enjoying the reminiscing on the joyful memories instead of like, oh yeah, that's where just whatever bad situation happened. But I think what that shows me too is that there's still a lot of stuff maybe from growing up that I haven't really worked through or maybe gotten through. So not that that's a good reminder, but it's just something that, like, okay, there's still something there. I'm feeling some sort of way. There's still something here that's not just comfortable. It's kind of uncomfortable for me. So digging into that instead of just saying, kind of shushing it away of like, okay, what is it that I need to work on? So, maybe that's booking some more therapy sessions and kind of working through some things. I think there's plenty of things from my past that I still need to work on. Just like, I would say maybe you do too. I think we all kind of do. So but that it's just, when you move away, when you move somewhere else, you make these new memories. It's like a clean slate. And so then when you get back in it, you kind of realize like, okay, where's the work? Where's the work that I need to do? Have I completed, have I gotten better about whatever it is, or do I still need to work on things? And so that's definitely what I found out this past weekend. So yeah, so I think it's just interesting just with the holidays. There's just always a lot of stuff, right? So all those things, like I said, families and traveling and maybe being back in a place that doesn't have always the best memories and all this stuff. But overall, it was a great time. My kids really had some special time with their cousins, and honestly, that was such a blessing. They just all played together, and it was like I enjoyed that little bit of a break, like I was saying I wanted, like of just being able to enjoy the holiday. It was like weird to just like sit in a recliner and watch football or whatever and just like talk to adults without the kids needing something from me, or and it was like that's just nice. Like that's I needed that. Now there was one night where I've been like suffering from migraines lately. I need to make an appointment and try to figure out what is happening. So unfortunately on Thanksgiving, I was like trying to get rid of a headache. It never turned into a migraine, thank you Lord, but it was like a headache. So I was kind of just like, I was out of it a bit. Like I spent a lot of day in bed trying to rest and just trying to like not have it turn into migraine and just feel better. And so the fact that then I could like, my kids were preoccupied and doing things and having fun, that made it that much easier to try to like feel better. So that was such a gift, such a gift. I think that's what I'm taking away from this week is that it'll be fine, even when the holidays are stressful, even when you don't have that shift of perspective to say that I get to do that get to do something, not that I have to do something. It'll be fine. And I think part of the way that it will be fine is if you do that shift. So yeah, that's, I think what I'm taking away from this week is just that it'll be fine even when the holidays are stressful, even when you're balancing things and you're traveling and you're trying to make it all work and all of these things are happening, it will be fine. Especially, I think, if we have that mindset of, I get to do these things, I don't have to do these things. And like I said, that does not mean everything is just going to be cheery all the time. It still can be stressful, and it's still, you still will have those hard moments, but like putting that perspective of, I get to, not I have to, can really change things. It has for me, and I hope it does the same for you, because I just know that I'm so blessed in so many ways. And again, I hate when people try to say, you have all these blessings, so just focus on that, then you won't be stressed. No, I'm not naive to think that I won't be stressed out. You can still be stressed out and be thankful for your blessings. Don't let people tell you otherwise. That's a big thing too about like parenthood, or being a mom, that it's like, oh, well, you wanted that baby, so, like, so then you're not allowed to feel overwhelmed. Like, no, get out of here. Like, that's not the case. So even if you have that that mindset, that mind shift, it still may not be easy, but I do think it puts things in a perspective. So I hope that that will help you as well as you continue to go into the holiday season, no matter what you are celebrating. But, just a reminder that you get to do these things. You don't have to do these things. Try using that in like different areas of your life and see if it makes a difference. Like I said, like it has for me. So, all right. It's so good talking to you, and I will talk to you next week.